What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new live episode of the Hot Mic here on the Outlaw Nation channel. I am the Outlaw John Rocha here. We're joined as always by the Sneider himself, coming to us live from the East Coast. How are you, Jeff?
Hello, Johnny boy.
Yes, sir. How's it going?
Can I get a chee-hoo? Chee-hoo!
Please tell me you went and saw that today with your niece or your nephew or something. Did you?
No, we have tickets on Sunday, baby.
Sunday, Moana 2.
Moana, Maui.
Maui. Down at the Boston Multiplex. But we got so much to get into here today. Thank you to everybody who's joining us here the day before Thanksgiving, special holiday edition of the Hot Mic. We usually go live on Thursdays, but not this week because of the big holiday happening tomorrow. 3 football games tomorrow. Jeff, a lot going on.
Johnny, you're echoing. Everyone is saying you're echoing.
Oh, sorry about that, guys. I don't know why that is. Let me see if there's maybe a situation here with my audio. I apologize. I may have to go out and come back in, but
I'll run the show myself.
Yeah, so do it. Do it real quick. I'll be right back. Do it real quick.
All right, guys. Tristan, 5 pounds or whatever that is. Hey, guys. Jeff, did you actually say that Raimi will be more hands-on with Doctor Strange 3, or was that just scooper rubbish? I don't even know what that means. Did I say that Raimi will be more hands-on? When did I didn't say that.
Did you? Something about hands-on?
Was he hands-off on Doctor Strange 2? I don't understand.
Here we
He's
go.
the director. I'm assuming he's pretty fucking hands-on.
Yeah, absolutely. How's that? Do I sound good all right now? I sound better? It's not tinny?
You sound good.
Okay.
I think he'd be as involved as he was with DS2, maybe even more involved.
Oh, you're talking about Tristan. You're answering this question.
Yeah, Tristan's thing. Yeah, he'd probably be even more involved since he set up the last installment, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Thank you, everybody.
Super rubbish. I don't even know what that means.
So angry. Wiley also saying, very excited for the Beatles biopics. My favorite Beatle is George. He's going to have to be younger than the actor too. Do you think they will cover All Things Must Pass at all? So that's a great segue for us to start our show here. Just a reminder, the Streamlabs and Super Chats are open. Just as you saw that Super Chat there from great fan of the show, Wiley OFC. All of you send in some love here. We're on the holidays. Send in holiday love as a thank you for all the stuff we do here on the Hot Mic. We would appreciate it. Streamlabs Super Chats. It's pinned in the chats in the description of the video. But Jeff, yeah, we should absolutely start with what Wiley is referring to here, and that's the news that broke last few hours here that the Beatles' Ringo Starr has confirmed that Barry Keoghan is being eyed to play him in the forthcoming series of Beatles films that Sam Mendes will direct for Sony. He was talking Entertainment Tonight, and Ringo Starr said, I think it's great. I believe he's somewhere taking drum lessons, and I hope not too many. Now, the studio, of course, has not confirmed this. Sam Mendes has not confirmed this, but it's believed that he is one of the 4 contenders to play these, he's one of the 4 people they're looking to play the 4 members of the Beatles here. Let's take a look at this. We got Paul Mescal circling the role of Paul McCartney, Harris Dickinson to play John Lennon, and Joseph Quinn, fresh off of Gladiator 2, to portray George Harrison along with Barry Keoghan as Ringo Starr. So you hear this?
Charlie Rowe in your photo there.
Oh, is that Charlie Rowan? Oh, sorry about that. You know, I get these guys confused sometimes. I apologize. I'll switch it out. But your thoughts on it?
Charlie Rowe was part of the initial rumor, but then
Right.
the Sun in early October put out the Joseph Quinn story, and everyone kind of shrugged it off because it was the Sun.
Right.
But last week I reported I'm hearing that the Sun was right, that it is Joseph Quinn. If it's these 4, I'm taking credit for all 4.
Tell the people why you take credit for all 4.
The Sun gets credit for Joseph Quinn.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying, when the trades followed today on the Barry Keoghan story, they all started running the other names. They all started running Paul and Harris Dickinson, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
I mean, the whole... And I know David Poland has something to say about this, but it's like the whole, there's no deals in place with any talent. Like, I'm sorry, if you're getting the tap on the shoulder from Sam Mendes to star in 4 movies, right, as the most iconic band of all time, who's turning him down out of these 4 people that I said? It's not like I said Timothée Chalamet and Austin Butler and Tom Holland, right? Like, you know, these 4 guys are obviously Hollywood's next generation of stars, but they're not superstars yet. Maybe these projects will turn them into it. But these were the names that I'd heard all along.
Yeah.
Okay? Maybe Joseph Quinn wasn't available, or they didn't think he was going to be available, or whatever. You know, like when I heard the initial rumor, maybe he didn't even know who Joseph Quinn was then.
Yeah, right.
You know, I don't know, but I think obviously he makes a lot more sense. It's tough. Even though I thought it would be good to have someone who's maybe a little bit lesser known play one of these characters,
Yeah.
it would certainly be cheaper. It's tough to have one guy stand out as not as famous as the other three. So now you've got kind of four stars who are all kind of on the same level.
Yeah. We're in a bit of a Beatles sense, aren't we, Jeff? Right now, you know, we've got the 1964 film coming out here that Martin Scorsese produced, the documentary. We had the Get Back documentary from Peter Jackson. And then there was the Abbey Road documentary that dropped just a few months ago. And the Beatles are re-releasing all their 1960s albums on mono. It's a big deal now. And now you bring the four coming in to do these biopics for Sam Mendes. It's almost like Titanic. Remember, like all those documentaries came out around the same time in 1995, 96, 97. Then we had the Titanic movie, and it made over $1 billion. This pop culture zeitgeist gets moving, and people get caught up in it. The Beatles still very much endure. And now we've got four biopics, and you're picking four really strong actors to portray these, arguably maybe the four strongest actors to ever portray them. Although people might remember Jared Harris playing John Lennon in that TV movie, Two of Us, with Aidan Quinn as Paul McCartney. Pretty strong selection of young actors to come in and play these four iconic characters. And maybe that's why they're doing this, Jeff. They want seasoned professionals, strong name recognition actors, and young, strong actors that they can rely on to deliver four different movies.
I did think Aaron Taylor Johnson was good as John Lennon.
Oh, yes, he was. Yes, in Nowhere Boy. Good call.
Yeah,
good call.
But I think Sony has to feel pretty comfortable with these four if it is in fact these four, right?
Yeah.
The trades only ran the Ringo stuff. And this is like with the stuff that drives me crazy, right?
Okay.
It's like they only ran the Ringo thing because Ringo himself said it in Entertainment Tonight.
Right. It was almost kind of like he blessed it, so to speak. Yeah.
But it's like, so if he hadn't said that, it doesn't suddenly make it less true, right? Right?
Well, because there's no official confirmation.
They wouldn't have run it without him saying it.
True.
So it's like, this is all why. It's like you have to follow alternative media sources like myself and Daniel RPK, who we're going to talk about in a second, and World of Real Jordan Ruby, because the trades actively keep things from you.
Yes. Well, because they wait, because they're working with the studios and they don't want to lose their access to the studios. So, but I mean, to be fair though, Jeff, there are some, like we just had the trilogy announced, the Simon Kinberg thing that had no official confirmation from the studio or from Lucasfilm or Disney, but Fleming put that out there, and so that's kind of going, alternative in a way, because you're not getting the official confirmation. So most of the time, though, I agree with you. They are working with the studios, and the studios tell them when to post this stuff and when not to.
And that's the other thing. But like, it's that idea too, right? That we just paint everybody with the same brush. Like at the trades, there's no question that I was both digging stuff up on my own and being handed stuff, right? But there's that perception that everything is just handed. It's not true, to the trade reporter's credit. But when David Poland's just like, oh, this is, it's some agent feeding you guys this stuff so that you'll force the issue in the public. Do you honestly think that Paul Mescal or Harris Dickinson or Barry Keoghan's agents called me and were like, Jeff Sneider, I got to get my fucking client cast as the Beatles. It's going to be your newsletter that forces the issue? Like, that's crazy. Right. No, none of those people called me, and that's not where I got it from. Right. And so when Poland says something like that I'm like being used, or that anyone who breaks this kind of stuff as early as I do is being used like that, it's just not necessarily true. It's just me trusting.
I don't know what you're addressing. What can you give us a little background on what you're talking? Who's Poland? What is this all about?
David Poland just, I was talking about how the Sony line that there are no deals in place.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's just like if there was no truth to this, the trades wouldn't have run today.
Right.
I mean, they ran it because Ringo said it, but like, I don't care if Business Affairs has a closed deal or not. Like, if he's off taking drumming lessons, like, what's he going to be doing in 6 months? Well, it turns out I wasn't a very good drummer and I couldn't learn to do it. I don't know. It's tricky. I get what the studio is saying, where they can say there's no deal, but they can also like whisper, you know what? It's true. Sam is going to cast this person, and they just don't, or they only do it for the trades.
Well, I think they err on the side of caution. And I'm not trying to defend the studios. Lord knows I've gone off on the studios myself at times, but I think they err on the side of caution. They can't really trust all of you. If like they got to vet this, I guess, in a way and figure out, okay, who's the people we can really talk to, who's not. And to be honest with you, the publicity departments are always having turnover, right? Because people get burnt out. It's a hell of a job. And so who's talking to who about what, who should be saying what to whom. And then if you go off and talk to a reporter like you and give a little like off the record comment and it kind of slides in some comment or slides into some article, you could affect the deal and the studio could pay more for the actor because it's been put out there and that screws your job. So it's a weird place to be in the middle because I think there are people.
And Poland's never been in the middle of it, right?
Right.
God bless him, love what he does. He doesn't break news. He doesn't break these kinds of stories. So it's just, I don't know. I'm just using him as a stand-in for the rest of the internet. Like,
yeah.
This was something I broke back in June, and sometimes it takes my stories 5, 6, a year, 2 years to come true.
Right. Yeah, but I mean but the other side of it. Yeah, we talked about this on Monday on Christian Show about you. We were saying like, if you could just not care that these people come after you, I think you'd have a much more happier and relaxed existence. Because not to go all the way back in time, but I don't think Hedda Hopper gave a fuck what anyone thought about her. I don't think Rona Bear. I don't think there's a lot of people. Siskel and Ebert certainly didn't give a fuck what anyone thought about them. And I think you've got to find that tougher skin and not give a fuck of what these people with 10 subscribers think about your stories or your news. And if the studios come after you, or someone like Sydney Sweeney's reps come after you, it's like whatever, man. Who cares? You've broken a bunch of stories, So just throwing that out.
I know where this information came from. So what these people are really saying is, fuck the 5 agents and executives who told me that Sydney Sweeney thing.
Yeah.
And, that's basically what your public statement is tantamount to.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, absolutely. But to get back to this story, are you excited about this? Does this make sense? Are these 4 movies still somewhat slated to come out in the same year? I mean, this is a hell of an undertaking by Sam Mendes, and I just wonder if he's going to get caught in the trap here, man.
That quote came from Mendes. Like, he's the one who I'm told said that at a screening that he planned for them all to come out in 1 year. And I think for marketing purposes, that may be the best thing too, right? Like,
I don't know, man.
What are you going to do? Drag this out for 4 years?
Yeah, like the Lord of the Rings. You drop one every December, or drop one every June, or drop one every November to give it in contention, or October and put it in contention for Oscars. I don't know.
I think people get tired of that gimmick. Plus, it's supposed to be Rashomon-like. And so
right.
It's one story being told from 4 points of view. It's not 3 different stories the way the Lord of the Rings trilogy is. So, and maybe they do over 2 years, maybe 2 a year. I could see that, one in the spring, one in the fall.
Right.
I don't know how Sony actually plans to play it, and is Apple involved in this or no?
Of course, they have to be. Of course, yeah. Mendes, will also produce via his Neal Street Productions, along with Pippa Harris and Julie Pastor, with Jeff Jones executive producing for Apple Core Limited. There's no way,
but not Apple Studios. Is that right? Okay.
Well, yeah, but it's there's no way you would do this without Apple. Oh, you mean Apple, the actual?
Yeah, I didn't know if it was like an Apple thing that Sony was just distributing, but no, this is.
I get confused because Apple Core is very connected to Beatles. Yeah. Well, I love this. I mean, look, I like this idea. I think Barry Keoghan is a good Ringo because he's got that kind of, Ringo's kind of the overlooked Beatle a lot of the times, and I think having someone like Barry Keoghan come in who commands your attention and commands your charm, and all the Beatles have said how Ringo was the glue of the band, like absolutely the glue of the band. I think you bring in someone like Barry, that's going to give people, because like you said, if you want to do, like, are you going to overlook we asked this a few weeks ago, are you going to overlook the George Harrison one, overlook the Ringo one because you just want Paul and John? Well, the way you don't have that is to cast people who are electric in charm to play these roles so that you want to watch the Ringo Starr movie and the George Harrison film. So I think this is smart casting all around if they actually lock down these 4 guys to get people interested in this. So
yeah, I like it. I think these guys will have chemistry. I think if they've seen each other around on the circuit and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I wonder how, if they're going to shoot this stuff, how are they going to, are some scenes going to be the same? So maybe that cuts down on the amount of time of shooting 4 films, a lot of common scenes, so to speak. So we will see. All right. So that's good. That's a good situation there for them. So let's move on. Thanks to everybody who's sending in super chats already. We see a bunch of them rolling through. Keep sending them in as we go along. We do answer them on the back half of the show, but send them in to put them in the queue, put them in line for us to talk about. All right, Jeff, let's move on to some Christopher Nolan casting here. Charlize Theron is set to join Christopher Nolan's next film at Universal here. She joins a cast that already includes Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Zendaya, and Lupita Nyong'o Jr. and Robert Pattinson. And the film will be released in IMAX in July of 2026. So what are your thoughts on this? And is there more here? Have you heard anything more about what the particulars of the script or what this movie might be about? What can you tell us about this Christopher Nolan casting?
I mean, I like it. What a cast.
Mm.
What an insane cast. He's guy's a talent magnet. Everybody wants to work with him, and hot off of Oppenheimer and his Oscars and everything.
Yeah.
Still don't know what this movie is about, though.
Still not hearing anything. You're not hearing it. I mean, we've heard some rumors, but then it's been shut down that nothing has been reported.
The team has really gone out of its way to say that all the rumors have been bullshit.
Yes.
And again, there's nothing. It's not like I ever heard it from anybody. Right. No one has ever told me what it was about. I'm just going off what I've read elsewhere, whether it's Jermaine's report in IO9 about vampires in the 20s and all kinds of different stuff. Who knows? The helicopter thing was very credible. I felt like on Reddit. I thought that was a very, the level of detail in that report. But
yeah, the Blue Thunder one. Yeah.
But looking at this cast, that doesn't make sense.
yeah, I think so too. This is a stacked cast to go around the world. This feels like a much more of a global story that they're telling than something that seems provincial. Although, Italian Job had a really strong cast, and that was pretty much a contained situation. But yeah. I
mean, what I'm wondering is whether these 7 actors, and maybe there will be an 8th, if they're playing couples, right? Is that what's going on here? Is this about 3 or 4 different couples? Is this a movie about love?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, good point. An 8th would make it like an even, of course, with the couples in the situation here. That's possible. This also feels like they
pair up well too. It's not just it's 8 actors and Gary Oldman's one of them. I can see Matt Damon with either Charlize or Anne Hathaway. I can see Pattinson and Lupita. I can see Tom and Zendaya. Obviously, I don't know.
Well, also, I mean, this feels like a heist film with all of these actors involved in this a little bit as well, like these kinds of actors. But I will say, I feel like Charlize. How can I say this correctly? I feel like Charlize might need this, brother. Like, if you look at her resume over the last 10 years, I mean, there's not a lot of strong, standout, attention-grabbing, Oscar-winning type of roles. And this is a woman who can clearly act the fuck out of a role. Bombshell didn't do well, even though she was great as Megan.
She got nominated.
Yeah, right, but she didn't win. You know what I'm saying? And so I think and the film didn't do well, which I think might have hurt the nomination in the end. But this could be a really good thing for her, don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, yes. Obviously, it's a fucking part in the Christopher Nolan movies. It's not. Doesn't matter if it's big or small. It does sound like it will be more of a supporting part.
Yeah.
I'm
just curious when I look through her resume.
It gives you a heist because it's an ensemble. You think it's it's a heist movie?
I don't know. It seems like everything's on the table since nothing's on the table.
I did try to be not that it ever would be, but I'm what if this was a Heat movie? Who is who? Right? I was like, is Zendaya Ashley Judd and Tom is Val Kilmer, or would Pattinson be the Val Kilmer?
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, someone's got to be on the other side. Who's going to play the Pacino? Who's going to play the cop? Is Pattinson the cop?
Is Pattinson Hero and Holland is Val Kilmer? Is Matt Damon the Pacino? We're free. We're free balling here.
So to speak.
What am I saying? We're freestyling. Free balling. I'm free balling. I don't know.
You are free ball. Hello. But I mean, Charlize, coming out of Mad Max Fury Road, it's been 9 years. Atomic Blonde, Winter's War, Fate of the Furious. I thought she was good in Tully. Certainly good in Bombshell, as I said, but Long Shot, a lot of people like that, but didn't do well at the box office. Old Guard, Fast 9, Addams Family 2, School for Good and Evil, Fast X, and then Furiosa, which she was just, like a part in.
So, I love her. She's great in Long Shot. That's a great movie. But
but didn't do well. And that's what I'm getting at. Like, I think she needs something, like, everyone's going to know who Charlize is. But I think she needs something that's, like, going to really announce her again.
And I reported last week that she's going to do her first TV show.
Right. Yes. Can you talk about that a little bit more? What is that?
It's called Cash. It's from David O. Russell, and I'm told it's going to be Paramount Plus. Now, I don't know if that's Paramount Plus with Showtime, right? I don't know if this is like a Showtime project, if Showtime even still fucking exists these days. But, like, they have
the
agency in a few weeks, right? I didn't. Have you gotten screeners for that?
Not yet. No. But I'll be hunting.
Because there were reviews today. Fassbender, Richard Gere, Jeffrey Wright, like, they're paying for big talent, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I figured maybe it could be part of that, but I don't know.
They're quietly putting together a strong stable of stuff, Paramount Plus. Because, I mean, Lioness, you got Nicole Kidman and Zoe Saldana in that situation. Yeah.
I want to watch that, man.
You got to see that one, man. It's really good. Landman, Billy Bob Thornton, John Hamm, Demi Moore. I mean, this is a strong situation. Even Michael Pena is in the first episode of Landman. So it's like,
the Charlize comeback starts here. It starts now.
Put it together.
Angelina Jolie's in a similar boat, quite frankly.
Okay, let's talk about that. You put that on the rundown. Talk about that a little bit.
Because I'm just, like, fascinated by her career. Like, literally the last time she was in a movie that, like, adults wanted to see. So I'm not talking about, like, Maleficent, which was successful, I suppose. But, like, a movie that adults wanted to see was Salt. That was in 2010.
Wow.
Like, let's bring this up, Angelina Jolie film.
Take a look at her thing. Yeah.
I got to do it.
Angelina Jolie, of course, but also she's having a bit of a good time right now. She won her latest round of negotiations in the lawsuit with Brad Pitt. She's getting rave reviews for.
She could get an Oscar nomination this year.
Yeah.
Like, who is looking forward to that movie?
I mean, like, look, from my mom's generation, my mom being Latina, Maria Callas was huge, so she's excited about this movie. But it's a good question. Like, how many people are really diving in to see a Maria Callas? How do you actually know who Maria Callas is?
That's what I'm saying. My buddy Ed Douglas got down to me the other day for saying that this movie, like, wouldn't stand as good a chance in the awards as Spencer and Jackie, because we're talking about Jackie O.
Yeah.
And fucking Princess Diana.
Yeah.
And like, Maria Callas is great. She may be the world's greatest opera singer. She is not on that level.
Yeah, no, it's not like opera's mainstream, right? Yeah.
And, like, did Jackie and fucking Spencer do well? Like, not really. So Maria is not going to do well. Eternals, Those Who Wish Me Dead, which was like an okay role for her, but that didn't do well.
Terrible.
Do that.
Yeah.
The One and Only Ivan, a voice role. Come Away, some movie with David Oyelowo. Maleficent sequel. Kung Fu Panda 3. By the Sea. The Tourist. What the fuck are these movies?
Yeah.
Like, one of the biggest stars in the world. Can we get Angelina Jolie just, like, in an adult? Like, why isn't she getting the Anne Hathaway or Charlize Theron role in Christopher Nolan movies? That's
a great point. I mean, I would argue, I would go even past Salt and Wanted to Changeling. That's legitimate. Like, when she, like, the last time maybe she's played a really strong character that was interesting up until possibly Maria. I haven't seen that yet. So Salt and Wanted are more like mainstream pop action films, right? Changeling is where initially Jolie had made her bones, which is in these harder edged independent movies, right? Like Girl Interrupted. And
I get that they're not making as many of those anymore. I mean, I'd love to see, Jolie reprise her role from Taking Lives and, like, do another serial killer movie or something but I know people are mentioning that she directs now. In the Land of Blood and Honey. Did you see that one?
I know. No.
First They Killed My Father. Did you see that one?
Nope. Didn't.
Like, I mean, come on, guys. But By the Sea. Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah.
Unbroken. I liked. I'll give her credit for Unbroken.
Yeah.
Without Blood got horrible reviews at Toronto.
Yes.
If direct something I want to see.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's an interesting where, like, even her popping up in Eternals was weird, right? Because it seemed to me like this is not where Jolie belongs in a Marvel movie like this, even though it was trying to be a bigger thing about Celestials and a commentary about God and religion and worshiping and all of that. It still felt like Jolie was a bit slumming it, but to lack of a better term, slumming it in a Marvel movie. I know people are gonna get upset about this.
And what Oscar-winning actress had a cameo in a big hit at the end of a big hit Marvel movie?
Right, Charlize Theron. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, why is Angelina getting that? It's like, if you have your pick, why are you doing Eternals, the bomb, when you could just be playing that Charlize role at the end of Doctor Strange?
Yeah.
What's going on? But yeah, these two could be making better choices.
Yeah, but she's always had a weird compass, hasn't she? Hasn't she always had a weird compass? Like,
yeah, they march to the beat of their own drum. I mean,
yeah.
One directs, right? I'm gonna go be a big director. The other one's a pretty big producer, Charlize. Yeah.
Right.
But what I'm getting at is that as actors, these are two Oscar winners who have really not been in the kinds of movies that I or anyone really wants to see for the last decade. It's nuts.
Yeah, you compare it to, like, why aren't they getting the Frances McDormand roles? Why isn't Charlize doing Nomad?
Is Angelina Jolie doing Night Bitch?
Yeah.
Anything. Right. Why isn't Angelina Jolie doing The Substance?
Oh, great point. Yes. Why,
guys? This is the shit I am talking about. Okay, they have the wrong people around them. I don't know what to say.
That's a great point. Yeah. Because Frances, why isn't Charlize or Angelina playing Lady Macbeth in Denzel's and Cohen's tragedy of Macbeth? Why aren't they in Nomadland? As I said, 3 billboards. Why isn't one of them in 3 billboards? That's a fair point, Jeff. It's a fair point you make. All right, fair points. All right. Let's take a quick break as we're almost at 30 minutes, and we'll jump into some more stories here. Keep the Streamlabs and Super Chats coming, ladies and gentlemen. We want to hear what you guys think and answer some of your questions and thoughts. And we'll be right back right after this. All right, Jeff, let's jump into this story here. You want to put it on the rundown. Wicked. Wow. What a massive explosion Wicked has become here. They defied the odds over the weekend. They opened to 112.5 million domestic. Has been adjusted from the 114, 162.5 million worldwide. It also amassed, it also broke records on Monday. And there are a lot of records that it broke over its run over the last few days, which is incredible. Deadline put it all together. I'm not going to read all of them, but certainly the biggest global domestic opening for Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, biggest domestic opening for a pop star, biggest domestic and global opening for John M. Chu, for producer Mark Platt, and that's saying of the producer Mark Platt, biggest global opening for a non-sequel film.
Enough.
All right, fine. I just wanted to give it some love, man. Go ahead. What are you doing now?
Put the image back on the screen. I wasn't done filming it.
Okay, there you
I have my phone out. I gotta be filming it. I thought that was interesting that within 5 minutes, maybe it was today. The Variety and the Hollywood Reporter both published the same fucking article.
Yeah,
about people filming in the theater.
Yeah,
during Wicked. But like, it was fascinating. Like, I had both of those articles. They both had their merits. The Hollywood Reporter one ended with how, like, the audience that isn't there in the movie theater has now become more important than the audience that is.
Yeah.
It's not.
They said that they see these films as content, that a lot of these young people now see these films as content, which is why they're acting the way they're acting in these movie theaters. I mean, I went to see Gladiator 2 at a screening a couple of weeks ago. In the press section, sitting next to 2 young influencers, they talked through the whole movie, as I said, shook their icy for 15 minutes to get the most out of their icy, shook it loudly and talked loudly. Not like, hey, what's going on? No, who is that? Why are they doing what they're doing? What do you think? And it was driving me fucking insane. But
yeah, and the studios do this shit to themselves because as many people as it brings into the theater, it also turns people away.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. People up. No one wants to go to the theater anymore because that's what the experience is like, and everyone just treats it like their own fucking living room. So I think that there is a time and a place for those screenings. Like there should be, come film the fucking screen, like, you know, do a sing along, like whatever you want. But I think it's rough out there. But evidently, it has not prevented people from going to the movies. Wicked has been a huge fucking hit, just like Moana has been. Moana sounds like it's going to do about 170, could even break 200 this weekend over the 5-day holiday weekend. I enjoyed Wicked. John, did you like it?
I did like it. I thought in the middle there were issues with some of the, like the Nessa character is introduced and then kind of disappears after being made so important and then pops in every once in a while. I thought the Bach Munchkin character didn't really have a lot of strength. The Fierro thing was a little off and on. So about the middle section, I was a little, but overall, I thought the film was enjoyable as hell. That finale packed a hell of a punch for me. Cynthia Erivo was fantastic. People need to stop falling all over themselves for Ariana Grande and disrespecting Cynthia Erivo's performance, because I thought
erasure.
she was the soul. She was the soul of that movie, for lack of a better term. And I thought it was a great film with commentary and with surface stuff that it was delivering. It accomplished both. If you went in looking for one or the other or both, it accomplished it by the end and got you excited for part 2. What did you think, Jeff?
I mean, I think I know that Elphaba's race like has not played into the the casting of the Elphaba actress or whatever.
Yeah, right. In the past, yes.
I think this was great casting.
Yep.
I mean, there's no. It obviously plays into like that metaphor.
Right. Yes, of course.
So I thought that she was terrific, and yeah, you could appreciate it on that level. Ariana Grande was really good. I don't really get the topic like her winning an Oscar. She's a little too bubblegum sweet for me, but yeah, like she's perfect for that part. Goldblum was okay.
Yeah. What about Michelle? Yeah.
Visually, like it was. I appreciated the production design. Sometimes it looked a little garish and everything with the cinematography, but I think it'll be a major awards contender. It doesn't feel like a winner to me.
It's building that sentiment. You see it online, and some of these articles are coming out from these sites saying that it might be the odds-on Best Picture winner. With that would surprise me.
Yeah, no, I don't think men are going to go for this like they went for Chicago. And but it does have a great ending, right? It has that big rousing ending that sends you out of the theater, no matter how you felt about the last 2.5 hours. You leave that theater on a high note.
Yeah.
I think that's hard to deny. I think you're right, though, that the movie does sort of drag in the middle. I really like the Fierro's introduction and that whole song.
Right, the dancing in the Dance Through Life or whatever. Yeah,
right, Dance Through Life, whatever it is. That was really cool. But yeah, in the middle, the second act, I may have dozed off a little.
Maybe the turn happens too quick for them coming together, and then it becomes about getting to that ending and getting to that moment. But I thought the revelation scene worked really well when she finds out that the wizard isn't what he said he was. And so that, I thought Cynthia, I don't think the film works without Cynthia. You can talk about the hair flipping and the funny stuff that Ariana does. That really works. It does work.
Yeah.
But without Cynthia anchoring that film with the story that she's telling, as a woman of color underneath the green skin, what it's like to be chastised for having a different colored skin, for how you came into the world through an affair. Like, there's so much here that is working on multiple levels, and the commentary on a incompetent man in charge of the situation, lying to the people and turning the people against a woman of color because she won't go along with his plans and support his incompetence. So there's a lot going on that I think is really strong, that works so well in the film, that I hope to see the second one and have it be just as good, if not better, than the first one when it's all
definitely a pleasant surprise. Like, I thought it was going to be sheer torture, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was too long, especially for half a story. Really, it probably could have been trimmed quite a bit. But yeah, hats off to John M. Chu. Like, he made it happen, just like he delivered on Crazy Rich Asians, which is another high stress, high pressure job.
Yeah, I agree. We'll see what happens. I mean, do you think they're rigging the Best Supporting Actress by putting Ariana Grande in there? Or do you think she's more of a co-lead? I've seen that come out in certain Oscar places.
She's supporting.
Okay. And I agree with you, by
the criticism that I've seen that I think is fair is that, like, Elphaba starts out as headstrong. It's not like she lets herself get walked over or whatever, and then there's a moment where it's like, that's it, I'm not taking it anymore. She's kind of like that from the start. But
it's a fair point. There's not as strong of a distinct arc in her journey, for sure.
There is an arc, but I think she always was strong-willed, headstrong and strong-willed,
right
from the beginning.
Okay.
But yeah, thumbs up.
Does Cynthia get nominated? Or do you think she gets lost in the mix with all these other
I
nominations?
think she does. I think she
Yeah.
does get nominated. I
I
think
hope
it's
so.
other people who are going to get lost in the mix.
Yeah, I like that idea. All right, so that's our wicked portion of the show. Let's move on here. Let's talk about this. What do I want to talk about? Let's talk about Daniel Craig as Sergeant Rock with Luca Guadagnino. Let's get into some DC stuff. What are your thoughts on this, Jeff? This broke, I think, last week. We didn't do a show last week because you weren't feeling well and you were traveling. So, what are your thoughts on this, Luca Guadagnino? And now there's rumors that Mike Flanagan and the Clayface thing is going to happen. So, this is quite a collection of really strong directors that James Gunn is accruing here under this DC banner. What are your thoughts on Guadagnino, and what are your thoughts on Flanagan?
What did you just say about Mike Flanagan and
the Clayface situation? That's happened. That's a lot of stories been coming out saying that that's going to happen. So,
okay. I mean, I don't know. To me, it's just like James Gunn changes his mind every 10 minutes. Like I don't know
what.
I don't know what's going on over there.
Yeah, the rumor, the rumors that Mike Flanagan is, according to Daniel RPK, that Flanagan has completed the script and is shooting is scheduled for next spring on a solo Clayface feature film. So that's the other part of this. But let's deal with Luca first. Luca Guadagnino and Daniel Craig. The Queer's coming out here in a couple of weeks. Yeah, and the review's already up. Your thoughts on them tackling a Sergeant Rock movie? And when we talked about it on the Geek Buddies, Michael Vogel suggested that because of some of the stuff that Lucas tackled, would Sergeant Rock be possibly gay in the movie? Is that something that's going to open the door to? So what are your thoughts on this?
I have no idea who Sergeant Rock is. I don't know what, like, this was the plan. This is the plan.
I don't know, buddy. I don't know.
Daniel Craig as Sergeant Rock, like from Luca Guadagnino. Sorry, I don't think that's a good plan.
You don't like the idea?
It's not that I don't like the idea, but I think if you're building something like he is, like it just feels like every now and then, like something just gets inserted into the pipeline, and you're like, how does this play into this larger universe, or is this just some cool idea that James would like to see, and we'll see if it develops into. I'm not seeing the fucking strategy.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, Sergeant Rock is going to be in Creature Commandos, which is the first thing coming out here officially from DCU. Yeah, he will have scenes in, because he's in the trailer.
Who voices Sergeant Rock?
Oh, I don't know who voice. I didn't look that up, but he is in the trailer. Or there's.
You think it's Daniel Craig?
Could be. Or it may have been done before they knew where they were going with Sergeant Rock, and so James could say all he want in that video, or whoever voices will be the live action, because you're seeing that with Grillo, but maybe the Sergeant Rock thing came along a little bit later and they wanted to go that direction.
I had no idea. Listen, I've seen an episode, I've seen a few episodes of Creature Commandos.
And but it's probably not for you, dude. It's probably not for you. But the Sergeant Rock situation, that's a soldier in the night. It has been put in World War II, has been put in Vietnam. It depends on who's writing the stories. So will it be updated, or will this be an Elseworlds thing where it's like way back in time? Will it be connected to Creature Commandos? Will it be an offshoot of Creature Commandos?
How can we have to ask any of these questions? We're talking about a fucking movie. You're just trying to get people into to see a fucking movie. The fact that we have to ask all these fucking questions is insane. Okay? This is the whole fucking problem with movie going these days.
That's how comics work, though, dude. Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
Maybe Elseworlds? Because what the fuck?
To be fair, my voice is a little bit deeper than that. I'm just saying that it's a possibility.
I'm just like, I mean, this is a war movie, right?
Yeah, it would be a war movie for 100%.
So a comic booky war movie? Does he have superpowers, Sergeant Rock?
No, he does not. He's got a little bit of like the ESP thing. He can sense things before they happen, but he doesn't have superpowers beyond that, other than he's a good soldier and he's a strong soldier. So, but wouldn't you have said the same things when they pitched you Guardians of the Galaxy, Jeff? Wouldn't you like?
Well, that's what I've been hearing for a decade, right? And that's always the argument. And I understand it's a good argument, right?
Right.
Because I did say the same thing. I was like, who the fuck are the Guardians of the Galaxy? And why does anybody give a shit, right? So it is all about the vision.
Right.
But this, to me, just feels like another Kraven the Hunter. That's exactly what it feels like to me. It just feels like this is the B stuff, like the side shit.
Okay.
Not that like, oh, why are we wasting time on Sgt. Rock when we could be making Swamp Thing? Like, I don't give a shit about that either, you know? And to me, it's just like, dude, you gotta fucking focus on Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, right? And the characters that people know. Like, you get to do Sgt. Rock just like you get to do Guardians of the Galaxy after you've assembled like a successful universe. Like, what are we doing?
They've been going on for 6 years, Marvel, by the time they ventured into Guardians of the Galaxy. That being said, though, they started with Iron Man, which isn't necessarily a top Marvel character. So I'm not saying the Sgt. Rock's going to be like Iron Man, but I mean, if Luca Guadagnino says he wants to take a meeting with you and you take the meeting with him and he goes, I want to do Sgt. Rock and I might get Daniel Craig, don't you go like, okay, let's fucking put this in motion, you know?
You do because of Daniel Craig, right? Because okay, this is James Bond, this is Knives Out guy, right?
Yeah.
So in our culture, yeah, I guess he's a movie star, but like, is he a movie star?
Well, I don't know. Well, I say yes, he's a movie star, but like you've got to build the right franchise around him to make him a movie star. Like Queer's not going to blow the doors off the box office. So it's got to be a certain
I don't really think of Daniel Craig as a movie star.
What? He was James Bond. Doesn't that officially make you a movie star?
You're James Bond. That doesn't make you a movie star. Can you open a movie? Can you go do some fucking original movie and have people turn up to see it? I don't think that is true, but Knives Out, right?
Hey, you're not going to give him credit for Knives Out? Do you think that's an ensemble thing?
You
yeah.
But I also think a big part of that is just like the murder mystery thing in the ensemble and the Ryan Johnson of it all. I don't think anyone's going to see Knives Out to see the new Daniel Craig movie.
What about Girl with the Dragon Tattoo? That was Daniel. He was leading that. Doesn't he get credit for that? Cowboys and Aliens didn't do well, but he was...
Dude, Daniel Craig is like a complete afterthought for me in the Dragon Tattoo movie. I didn't even think of him. Like, did anybody go see Defiance?
No, nobody went to see Defiance.
You know, like, is anybody going to see Queer?
I don't think it's gonna have a big box office opening. But then again, Lucasfilms never do, right? Call Me by Your Name didn't make $500 million or anything like that. Or
I mean, if Daniel Craig was a movie star, would Girl with the Dragon Tattoo have gotten a sequel?
Yeah, I don't know. That might be a Fincher thing. That might be a studio thing.
Best-selling IP. I
agree. Yeah.
You're not going to see Daniel Craig. I don't think Daniel Craig is really an above the title movie star.
Wow.
And I don't know that Sgt. Rock is the type of character that just anybody's going to show up for. So, like, let me put it to you this way.
Yeah.
Sgt. Rock starring Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
Comes out, and I'll give you who's the villain. I don't even know.
I don't even know who they'd make a villain for Sgt.
It's some evil dictator from another
some Nazi or something. Yeah, sure.
Okay, who is it? I'll give you your pick. Whoever you want.
Michael Fassbender. Mads Mikkelsen. How about that?
Sure. Okay. So you've got Daniel. So it's a Bond reunion. Okay. Casino Royale.
Yeah. Good point.
Daniel Craig as Sgt. Rock. Mads Mikkelsen as a Nazi.
Yeah.
Directed by Luca Guadagnino. How much money does the movie open to opening weekend, John?
Maybe $100 million.
$100 million? No.
It depends on the trailer, and it depends on how interconnected Sgt. Rock is to the overall DCU story they're telling.
I think that's a movie that would be lucky to open to $50 million. I think that's a 35 to $45 million opener.
Okay.
Is how I would describe that. But
it also depends on where DC is, right? If DC's come out with Superman and killed it, Supergirl and killed it, The Authority and killed it, then people have like, oh, I gotta go see Sgt. Rock. This looks awesome. It's connected. Then it's a whole nother ballgame, isn't it?
Connected. I mean, these are the things. And again, it's about budget. So are these movies, are they all going to have $150, $200 million budgets like the Marvel movies did? Or do you take a page from the Sony playbook and you make these movies for $70 to $110 million?
Yeah.
Because that does change the equation on the math and all kinds of stuff. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, let's move on to this other story here, Jeff. You wanted to talk about this, the alignment sale here. You wrote about this in your newsletter. You want to talk about it? I don't think I could do it justice.
I will, I'll talk to you after the show about it. But
oh, okay.
I did want to mention it. It was terrifying.
Okay.
It was a terrifying read. I read it in the hour-long
script itself. The script itself, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just in terms of like what AI can do, what it's capable of, what it's doing already.
Yes.
And how if you don't know how to use it, you're going to be left behind almost. Like just financially, which is terrifying because I'm not good at money. Not good with money at all. But
yeah.
It was just like, so it's a lot like Margin Call. It is about a young software engineer who like discovers that like his company's AI, its new AI that's super successful, is just like printing money for the company, but at the same time fucking shit up across the world. Just like destabilizing stuff. And it's like, so it explores the argument between like, is it causing these things or is it succeeding because of these things, right?
Yeah.
Because if it has learned how to cause these things in order to, to keep itself alive, to keep itself making money for its creators, essentially, right? There's no stopping it. And it's about these like 9 board members who, once this issue is brought to their attention, have to decide whether to pull the AI offline or let it continue to make them a fucking ton of money while, ruining everything across the world. Yeah. So it's very dialogue heavy. It was like it's like we're screwed. We're just so screwed, John.
Yes. I've been saying this for years, that the artificial intelligence is coming. We are all going to be enslaved by this thing, but it's not going to be quite like you see in the movies. It's going to be run by billionaires,
right,
who are in charge of the AI, and eventually they're going to take away all our jobs. They're going to be able to do the critiques of movies. The thing you saw this week, I was reading about this to add on to the story, and we'll circle back and talk about Nathan Dotson and how this whole process went down. But like, Jeff Bezos has found funding about $400 million for this $2.5 billion project in order to make robots more of a general purpose type thing in our lives and to remove a lot of decision-making from our lives, essentially Wall-E, where the robots kind of take over everything we're doing for us. This is the goal. They rolled out new AI features on Prime Video over the last few weeks, where the Prime Video AI is giving you a synopsis, generating a synopsis and reviews for the content you are watching. It is monitoring the content you are watching, and then it's suggesting the films and TV shows for you to watch. And because Prime Video has the NFL, they are now using AI to monitor defensive players and offensive players' instincts, statistics, patterns, and they're putting that up for the fans in real time as they're watching the plays. They're putting up information. So this is going to control everything that we're doing. And we're sitting here like, who's going to play Batman? We might not have a fucking world in 5 years that you even recognize. Who gives a fuck who's playing Batman? So these are these things, when you really dive into AI, people are willingly ignoring it because they're scared to deal with it, but it is coming and there's no stopping it. Absolutely zero. And you see all these people who want to be a part of it, all these billionaires who want to control it and use it. And we need to be more aware of what's happening here, because we are going to lose control of this thing. And so the fact that this script is exploring the natural human instinct to value money over stabilization, to value greed over peace or pacifism, it is absolutely coming, for our entire
part of it with the script is like, that the AI, like, it invests in all kinds of different stocks and stock markets and things like that. And a big part of it is the travel industry, right? And like these planes that sit on the runway, right? And burning fuel, right? And then they have to go back to the gate to refuel if they burn too much of it. And just how like the AI can control scheduling. It can control the scheduling of flight staffing. Right. Where it's like, oh, we're delayed 2 hours because the pilot needs, a 2-hour break, or whatever it is. and then that it can affect fuel prices. It can take the disenfranchised among us, right? Even if that's only 1 in every 10,000, and it can unite them using social media. It can inflame division on social media.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
And basically, so unite the disenfranchised who will then topple governments, which can destabilize currency.
Yep.
It's pretty wild. And so it was written by this guy, Nathan Dotan,
Mm-hmm.
who received $1.25 million for the script alone.
Yeah.
And he'll get $3 million, so another 1.75, I believe, if it gets made.
Right.
Right. But he gets to go home right now with 1.25, and that is like 90s shit, right?
Yeah.
Especially for someone who hasn't like sold a script before. I mean, there are other people like the woman who wrote Naiad last year. I think it's
Julia Cox. Yeah.
Right. Julia Cox. She had a big script sale for that. Was like $3 or $5 million this year, called Love of My Life. But she, is a known entity. So this guy, it's like reading the first 20 pages of the script. I'm sitting there being like, what's so special about this? Like, I could write this, right? It's just a lot of like people talking to each other like normal coworkers do.
Right.
But then once they get into the nitty gritty of the AI, it's like, oh, you would have to be like fluent in this kind of stuff to be able to write this. And sure enough, he has like a PhD in sociology from Columbia. He's worked in biology. He's run an NGO. He's an investigative filmmaker. Like he has a very varied background, and I think his expertise is in data science and computer analytics. So it was just a very, very smart script. I understood why fifth season and Brad Weston's Make Ready came in and took it off the table preemptively before the studios could get their hands on it. If I'm a writer out there, that's exactly the kind of thing that I'm trying to write, because I can see why it sparked such a bidding war.
But what does this say about fifth season? It's been seen as kind of an afterthought, and not in a negative way, but just kind of like, one of the small ones trying to get big. What does it say that they were willing to shell out this amount of money for this film? Is this them getting some funding, moving into a bigger realm to be considered? I mean, are they starting to move into the focus area? Are they starting to move into A24 area? What's your thoughts on it?
No. They're not a distributor.
Okay.
So they're a financier.
Okay.
There's just a fancy name for Endeavor. They are WME, essentially.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Right. WME because they had to separate them, right? With it was like you can't be double dealing, essentially.
Right.
Well, fifth season was spun off of WME Endeavor and everything. Same execs,
right?
That were there before, and
is that window dressing? Because they're still going to be working with these agencies, right, to cast their films, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, okay. They're gonna. I'm sure that. I mean, they don't have to go to WME to populate it with WME clients, but because of the relationships, a fifth season only exists because of WME. Then I think that the natural instinct is they'll probably try to package it with WME talent. Right. But it's going to go to a traditional distributor unless a streamer comes in over the top and pays a ton for it. But I think the problem with that is. Then you wind up with like Fair Play, which is another great movie about office politics and stuff like that. That was it disappeared last year on Netflix after making a big to do it at Sundance. So I think a script like this is going to be trying to get a theatrical release.
Oh, the Phoebe Dynevor movie, right?
Even Margin Call famously was one of like the first like VOD movies, right?
Yep, I remember that.
Or a hybrid.
Right, because Margin Call and Boiler Room were around the same time, right? I remember that was a thing that people.
Boiler Room was a lot earlier, I think.
Yeah, I remember that.
But,
Sorry.
Yes, David Fincher, Adam McKay. These are the kinds of guys who would love a script like this.
Yeah, interesting. Well, before we take a break, let's talk about a little more things to scare the shit out of us. Apple TV has given a series order to a series adaptation of Cape Fear, with Javier Bardem set for one of the lead roles, Max Cady. That's the Robert De Niro role and the Robert Mitchum role from the original. And the logline is: a storm is coming for happily married attorneys Amanda and Steve Bowden when Max Cady, a notorious killer from their past, gets out of prison. This was in development in 2023. The Apple has ordered 10 episodes of this. And Nick Antosca will serve as writer.
The counselor.
Executive producer.
Come out, wherever you are.
I love that movie, man. So I mean, this is Presumed Innocent was a movie, and they turned it into a pretty successful 10-episode series. Is this something that you're now really confident Apple TV can do well, brother? Are you excited about this? Is this Javier Bardem going into friendo territory? Like, what are your thoughts on this?
I love it. I just watched QUEER the other week after this announcement.
So good.
Yeah, I think Javier Bardem could do a great fucking job. And he's different, right? He's so different. Yeah. And enough time has passed. It's been like close to 35 years.
Yeah.
I think it's ripe for reinvention. I don't know how much of a reinvention we're making both of the married couple lawyers is, but okay.
Yeah, the fact that they're happily married seems weird because they weren't happily married in the fucking Scorsese version. So,
yeah, I'm very curious, like, to see what they're gonna do to shake it up. It's Nick Antosca's though doing
Tosca, yeah.
I think he's a great writer. I think he's really, really interesting. I mean, Spielberg and Scorsese teaming up. Apple's gonna put some money behind this, obviously, with Javier's casting.
Yeah,
I'm fucking into it, dude. Who do you cast as Nick Nolte?
That's the great question, isn't it? Like, who's gonna play Nolte? Who's like a lily white lawyer who is like kind of a Southern lily white lawyer? I mean, who would be subject to this guy who would be cocky, who would think his shit doesn't stink and have Max Cady come in and mess up his whole world. Is there a Nick Nolte type out there? I don't know. It's a great question. Jake Gyllenhaal? No, but he's crazy already. So you wouldn't want, and he already did Presumed Innocent.
I mean, I have just like the laziest choice, but you know, I don't think he would do it just to do his schedule.
Sam Rockwell is interesting.
Great minds, Jamie. I was thinking Glenn. But you know, I think he's just too busy. Chris Evans is a good one.
Ooh, Evans.
Zeno Hour. The best thing he did was defending Jacob for Apple. So it's like I'm clawing my way back to Apple if I'm that guy.
Ooh, here's a great choice. Fucking Josh Hartnett. Josh Hartnett in the glasses and like being put upon, but you could see him possibly being a little dirty, cheating on his wife, things of that nature. I could see Hartnett playing that against Bardem really well.
I do like that. Guys, we got a good audience. We got good choices here.
Yeah, Chris Pine. Absolutely.
Miles.
Oh my God, Juliet should come back and play the mom this time around. That could be really interesting. She'd probably be the teacher at the school. I think that's more believable for Juliet. But yeah,
I don't buy her as a lawyer at all. Juliette Lewis is my lawyer. I don't think so. Jamie, yeah, I know. Jamie, the good ones here. We were both thinking the same person for the daughter, which is Julia Butters. We love Julia.
Oh, yeah, right. Off of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yeah, good choice.
Going back and looking at that performance, the Juliette Lewis role,
that's
very it's an incredible performance. And it's very sexual.
Yes.
But also innocent. Like she doesn't know what she's doing.
Yes. Like when he puts his thumb in her mouth and like that is super unsettling. Yeah. And listen, we need to stop, Jeff. That's my turn. Like we need to stop with this nonsense. Like I was gonna say this for the comedy. We can talk about it now. Robert Downey Jr. saying you couldn't do Tropic Thunder now because people are so fucking sensitive.
Right.
This is asinine.
Right.
Nobody is too sensitive to have good, edgy comedies out there. Cut it out. And nobody's too sensitive. Like Rolling Stone, we're going to talk about that too. American Beauty. Oh, it's icky to watch Kevin Spacey having fantasies about the teen. We have to stop being afraid to show the actual truth on the screen of situations because it makes us fucking uncomfortable. Cut that shit out. This is art. Make art. This thing with what's going on with Max Cady, what he does to Juliette Lewis, is icky as fuck because it's supposed to be. He's a fucking villain. He's supposed to be sexually abusing her. Don't tell me this idea that, we can't show that on screen. We shouldn't put that on screen. This is the reality of the world. And Max dies at the end. So, like, there is a comeuppance. So it's just frustrating that we live in this world where people are afraid. People put this narrative out there that we can't make edgy content anymore. It's asinine. It's not true.
I'll speak to that in 1 second, but real quickly, a couple weeks ago, we narrowly avoided a No Country for Old Men reunion with Josh Groban and Kelly McDonald on
Yes.
Patrons.
Yes.
What if there was one on this?
Oh, what
Josh
Brolin is?
as
That's
Nick
actually,
Cage.
that's actually a really good
Going
choice.
up against Bardem again. That's
Yeah, that would be great. I don't think they do it because, I mean, Katie is kind of close to Anton Chigurh. I don't think they do it, but fuck, Brolin would be a great choice to play the put upon lawyer, man.
That's a hook.
Damn,
As for the comedy stuff, I mean, Robert Downey Jr. is when he's like, well, we could never do that because of the audiences today. Well, you could do it if you didn't give a fuck what audiences thought.
Right.
Okay, I don't recall the audience being polled on all the fucking movies that Hollywood makes. It used to be that an artist had a fucking vision, wrote a script, made a fucking movie, put it out there, and then you either liked it or you didn't like it. You didn't pander to the audience or let fucking Twitter dictate how you make your fucking movie. Right. So Robert Downey Jr. fucking sack up and go make a fucking funny movie. People will turn up to it because people like to laugh.
Yeah. And Ben Stiller said the same thing. Ben Stiller reiterated that, and it's like, no, it can be done. You just have to be inventive
to offend people.
Exactly. I mean, at that time, remember, those are all guys that are young at the time, right? Ben Stiller, RDJ, Jack Black, even Jay Baruchel, like all those guys that were a part of it. They were edgy in the prime of their careers to have fun with this stuff. You could do that now in a different way. You could absolutely do edgy comedy in a different way. And so it's just like, it's frustrating when I hear these people say this stuff because it's not true. Young artists are hungry, smart, edgy, and inventive. And if you write the right script, you can get made and people will love it. The problem is Ben is old now. So Ben thinks, oh, there's no way you could make it now. No, Ben, you're not edgy anymore. You were edgy then. You're not edgy anymore. Severance is great, but it's for an old middle-aged crowd. It's not necessarily for the young kids who would have loved Tropic Thunder like we did at that time. So
I gotta talk about Ben Stiller really quickly. I am gonna watch Nutcrackers this weekend, but this week, dude, I finished Dan Amora.
Oh, Escape of Dan Amora. Yeah, the Patrick.
You watched that years ago?
I haven't seen it. It just popped up on Max. I want to see it. Yeah.
I watched half of it when it came out. I think maybe Showtime gave me like 3 or 4 screeners, right? This is like 5 years ago. And I watched the screeners when they came in. And the problem with that whole system is that you never go back to it when the show starts. You never exactly. So I never watched the second half of the show. I watched it this week. Yeah. What an incredible show.
Yeah. It got nominations all over the place. I think she won an Emmy.
Awards and shit. But like, credit to Stiller. Like, the back half of that show was amazing. So you should definitely watch that. Make time for that.
I saw the trailer again when it popped up, and I was like, this is actually really good, especially now because me and her are into like serial killer, into like escaping from prison movies. We just saw that documentary about that woman in Alabama who helped that prisoner escape because they fell in love. She was like the head of the guards in that prison. Like, so those kinds of things interest us now. So I think opening the door to Dan Amora makes sense now to watch it for sure. So yeah, I'm down to see it for sure. All right, let's take a break, man. Anything more you want to say about it, or shall we take a break?
Comedy is coming back, guys. It will come back.
Okay, you want to jump into that? We can jump in. Let's jump into that after the break. I want to have a longer conversation about that. Hold on. We'll be right back right after this. All right, thanks everybody who's sending Streamlabs and Super Chats. Keep them coming. I see 19 questions in here. Keep them coming. We'll answer them on the back end of the show for sure. But Jeff, you mentioned stuff as we went to break, this idea of comedy coming back. Will Ferrell, mere weeks after signing on to 20th Century Studios' Street Justice, he's found a new project in Judgment Day, a comedy in development at MGM Studios. He has that really heartwarming documentary out now on Netflix for people to watch as well if you want to get involved in this. And you wanted to, Will and Harper, if you wanted to talk about the fact that comedy is possibly on its way back. Yes. Talk about that a little bit more.
Like Lionsgate did set up a project called Rager that's supposed to be like The Hangover this week with John Kasdan directing. Both of those Will Ferrell projects. Like I used to write about 5 of those projects a week. Like back in the day, like when shit was humming, when it was like Rogan, Franco, like here's this, here's that, here's that Bryan Cranston movie that he's doing. Here's it's just like they had all these high concept comedies.
Jonah Hill.
Yeah. Now there's
Michael Cera. Yeah.
Right. That's why I flagged it when Will Ferrell did announce 2 movies like that, because they really are pretty rare these days. So I do think that studios are ready to invest in comedies again. I thought that David Gordon Green, like he did a big interview with Deadline today, right? And he talked about, there are a couple things that he mentioned. One was that comedy like horror doesn't need movie stars.
Yeah.
It
Comedy
needs,
makes movie stars. Yeah.
It needs, right, exactly.
Yeah.
Was Adam Sandler that big, like when Billy Madison came out or Happy Gilmore? Like, not, I mean, he was from SNL, sure, but like, right. You're right. Comedy creates movie stars. No one knew who Jim Carrey was. I mean, he was the In Living Color guy when Ace Ventura and Dumb and Dumber and The Mask came out.
Right. He wasn't even the most famous In Living Color person when he broke out and did Ace Ventura. And I mean, David Alan Grier talks about how he felt bad for Jim and he thought the script was terrible. He thought the film was going to tank, and it became a worldwide phenomenon.
So the thing is like, you got to take these funny people, whether it's the Shane Gillises of the world or the Nate Bargazzis, and they need to be the new comedy stars. Yeah, I know that these guys are stand-up comedians and they're probably not very good actors. I mean, you know, I don't think Shane was great on tires or anything, but like you're basically just asking these people to play themselves.
Yeah.
And I think that is where Hollywood needs to look, and that these guys need to push themselves. Some of them are teaming up and writing scripts with each other. Like It could be about finding the right two stand-up comedians and putting them together and seeing what that alchemy looks like.
Right. Like Eddie was the star coming out of SNL. And then they started the path with him with these comedies and action films and whatever. And it became a superstar. Those are those things that you can, if you got Mike Myers, right? Mike Myers wasn't even like considered the best of the cast coming out of that cast, but those characters like Wayne's World and Austin Powers just caught on. And so I think you're right, man. I think nowadays more than ever, we need comedy back in our lives. We had a nice run with drama and all this kind of stuff, but now let's bring the comedy back and start seeing where, I don't know if, you know, Will Ferrell is a little long in the tooth comedy wise is the path, but that shows you the fact that he's willing to dive back in to do multiple comedy films right now, that he is sensing maybe that the door's opening again for these comedy films. Now, who are the stars that are going to pop in for this? And I don't even know if Gillis and Bargatze are a little long in the tooth themselves somewhat for comedy. So who are the young people coming up that are
going to tell you right now.
Yeah.
If I was a writer, I'd be trying to write a movie around Kaya Gerber.
Oh, interesting choice. Okay.
You know, something almost like her American Pie or something like that.
I thought Rachel Sennett was great in Saturday Night. Why not write a comedy around her?
She's getting her own HBO show. She is great. What was I going to say? Oh, David Gordon Green had said something else that I thought was interesting. It stood out to me. He criticized the chairs in movie theaters. Okay. He said that you can't see the back of anyone's head anymore, right? You're just looking at the back of the chair because the chairs are so high, right? Because they're so like cushioned.
Yeah.
You can't tell when someone's like laughing hysterically or when someone jumps up when they're scared.
Right.
And it's almost like trying to recreate the home viewing experience in the theater because we're like siloing each other off. Yeah, I can look to my left and to my right, but who's doing that in the theater, right?
Right.
Looking straight ahead. And if you can't see the other people in front of you, it's like you're alone.
Yeah.
And I did think that was pretty interesting as far as affecting comedies.
So we need to remove stadium seating in order for comedy to work? Interesting. I hadn't thought of it that way, but interesting.
Yeah, he railed against it. He said, I don't test my movies in theaters with that seating.
Yeah. Maybe I should start writing some for Mark Ellis. Well, though Mark's a little long in the tooth comedy-wise, too. So where's the young kids? Where are the young kids?
Mark's 40 already. God. That's the other thing. I think it just happens later.
Hollywood, man. Yeah.
At least on the comedy side, like it takes a while for comedians obviously to find their voice, right?
Yeah,
and for them to build up a big enough following on social media, and then by the time that they stand out or make it, they're already 30.
Somebody should write the Hot Mic movie where Jeff and I go on a road trip, for God's sakes, and try not to kill each other and learn a lesson by the end. There's bound to be comedy with both of us in a fucking film like that. The craziness of it all. All right. Anything more on that that you want to talk about? Anything more you want to hit on with the comedy situation? Or are we good?
No, we're good. I mean, how many more topics do we have left? Can we get to some questions? Or?
Yeah, we get questions. I want to ask the Jimmy Stewart thing real quick. Do you want to push that aside?
Did you hear about this?
What, the It's a Wonderful Life movie, or which one?
Yeah. The Jonathan Abrams, the writer of Juror Number 2, is like writing a movie about the making of It's a Wonderful Life, and Jimmy Stewart and Frank Capra, and like dealing with PTSD through the making of that movie and everything. There was another script like this that was on the blacklist, I think, like that, called "It's a Wonderful Something" or other.
Okay.
So it's like, I do think that this will eventually get made by somebody. It's kind of too good an idea not to, even though I don't think my generation really knows who Jimmy Stewart is or cares.
You know what? You know what? People still watch It's a Wonderful Life, you son of a bitch. People still watch it.
On this household.
Yeah, we'll see. I like the idea. I once went to a screening of it in Hollywood when I lived there at the Academy, the one on Vine, there by the ArcLight. And Frank Capra III was there to talk about the experience of his father or his grandfather went through making the movie. And there's a lot of great stories behind the scenes in the making of that film and how it all turned out. And remember, people forget it wasn't a hit when it came out. It was seen as too depressing. It wasn't well, they felt it wasn't well done. And it got on in the 50s is where it really caught on. But like, it wasn't a hit for a long time. So the idea of making this movie and then having it not actually become a hit at the end of the making of the movie is going to be interesting to explore and what have you. So yeah, I'd be down to see that. And Capra's a filmmaker that gets a lot of reverence, but people don't like explore his stuff as much as they should. So it could be fun to see. And Jimmy Stewart as well, who was a bomber pilot, right, in the World War II and stuff like that. So who knows? Especially the military aspect could bring people back to see a film like this. We will see. Yeah, someone reminded me the Marvel updates. Jeff, Daniel RPK talked about two things, that the Young Avengers is probably going to become Champions, a Disney Plus TV series, and that there are possibly new reshoots going on right now for Captain America 4 for a film that's coming out in February. Thoughts on these two things? Or do you like the idea of them turning it into a Disney Plus series instead of a Young Avengers feature film? And do you think these reshoots are legitimately happening for a film that's coming out in fucking February?
If they are, then they're the built-in reshoots.
Okay,
right?
So people knew these were going to happen, is what you're saying.
If they're actually happening, then yeah, right. I think these are the reshoots that had been planned up from the beginning, right? There's always we need to clean this up or that up, and so a few months before release, we'll block off a couple of weeks or whatever. Yeah, I mean, I'm not like worried about it. I don't think they're tearing the movie up 3 months before release. I'm sure it's just pick up shots and like small stuff that maybe was. It's like maybe reshoots for the reshoots. Right. As for Young Avengers Champions, I haven't really heard anything about that stuff. So I haven't really been following that. I figured it would happen eventually one day.
Does it make sense to make it a TV series instead of putting it up on the big screen? Yeah.
Because it's not, it's not a movie with a bunch of like 15-year-old leads.
Well, to be fair, Haley is 27. So I think they're removing the young because they're saying, Haley. Yeah. I see. Well, I mean, yeah. How old is her character? 18, 19? Yeah, right. That's a fair point. Like the characters themselves are supposed to be teenagers. I mean, Iman Vellani is supposed to be in high school, Kamala Khan in high school, even though Iman is 22 years old. So
it's like that Hulu show Runaways, right? Marvel Runaways. That's what this is going to be. And yeah, for me, it's a Disney Plus thing. It's not big screen worthy. Yeah, fair point. All right, there you go. Let's get into some questions. You ready? Let's do it. Hit me. Let's do it. All right. Let's jump into this thing. Here we go. Number one. Thank you, Tristan. This says, hey guys, Jeff, did you actually say that? Oh, we handled this one already. Wiley, okay. Yes, already, Tristan. You double. Do you guys think Wicked will gross more than $1 billion? Yes. Jeff? Do I think Wicked will gross more than $1 billion? I mean, it's almost already at 200 million already. No. Really? No. Oh, I think it's going to have legs through Christmas into the new year. I think it absolutely will gross $1 billion. And I did not believe that before the film came out. You've got Moana, Mufasa, Sonic. You got a lot of children's stuff. Sure. And that means adults have to go with the kids to that. I think that they're going to be busy seeing these kiddie movies, and I don't know. Okay. I mean, it's going to get repeat business, Wicked, but $1 billion, I think, no. Okay. Also soft overseas, right? Because the demand is so much more overwhelming here. Right. Fair point. Armada says Dice as Sneider in the movie. It's got to happen. Yeah, this is the thing. Dice play. I don't think you've heard of this, but
Some people on the Christian Harloff show and the channel I was on Monday. They were debating whether you should play Andrew Dice or Andrew Dice Clay should play you in a movie. And I love the idea of Andrew Dice Clay playing Jeff Sneider, the Scooper, in a movie in Hollywood. That just seems all kinds.
I mean, he's got how many years on me? 30 years? Like,
a little bit. Yeah.
I'd like to think I'd be playing him, but hey, Dice Man's okay with me.
I don't believe the scoop. Hey, balls across the room.
Hickory dickory dock. Fuck my fucking.
There you go. Wiley OMC says, been watching a bunch of 40s Christmas movies. There's your generation, Jeff, for the first time. Been loving it. Standouts, Remember the Night, and It Happened on Fifth Avenue. Yeah, those are good ones. It Happened on Fifth Avenue is a good one. I remember that one from when I grew up as a kid.
What happened on Fifth Avenue, Jeff?
Well, I'm not going to ruin it for people who haven't seen it, Jeff. You know,
I
like
lived on
your
Fifth Avenue.
generation.
I don't remember anything happening there.
It's right next to 34th Street and the miracle that happened there. Max Sloth says, how tight is the race between Adrian Brody and Timothy Chalamet? Could Ray Fiennes still win for Conclave? Has Snyder seen A Complete Unknown? Yeah, there were screenings last week in LA. Dude, I almost drove up to see this one because I'm looking forward to this one. Have you seen it? And what are your thoughts on the running here?
I haven't seen it. Only been reporting on Timothy Chalamet longer than every other reporter on the planet. But no, haven't seen it. Heard it's good. Heard he's good.
Yeah. Yeah,
it does kind of feel like that's the race because I never bought into the Ray Fiennes thing. Ray Fiennes is a great actor who hasn't won an Oscar for a reason.
The English patient.
He's good in that movie, but there's just not enough. There's not enough meat on that bone. Like, did you saw Conclave?
Yeah, I saw Conclave. I've seen it twice because it's on the app.
You think he was like this is an amazing performance?
I'll tell you this. I loved him in the film, but no, I agree with you. When I came out of the film, I was like, okay, maybe this is a weak year in movies, and so this would a weak year for performances. This could qualify, but I haven't seen The Brutalist and I haven't seen A Complete Unknown, so I have to wait to see those. But I'll tell you, Isabella Rossellini, man, I hope she slides in there and gets a nomination for supporting actress because she's fucking damn good in that movie, dude.
Yeah, she was good as well. But it's those two. I don't think Tucci's getting a nom or Lithgow. No.
Yeah. Oh, I thought John Lithgow was fucking good.
Yeah, Brody and Chalamet. And I say Brody right now until I see young Timmy.
Okay. Christian says, any guesses on who will write DS3? Or if you could choose anyone to direct a DS3, who would it be? I don't know what DS3. Am I off, Jeff? I don't understand.
Strange 3.
Doctor Strange 3. Oh, gotcha.
Directing, who's writing it?
Oof.
Don't know, don't care.
Yeah, I don't know. The rumors are Raimi.
Give it to Dan Casey. I like Dan Casey, writer of F9.
Yeah, there you go. Put him in there. Max Law says, has Jeff seen Luca's new movie Queer? And what's his review? Does he prefer queer or challengers?
Which way do I swing? Am I gay or bi? Let's see. No, I haven't seen Queer yet. I had to miss a screening that I had RSVP'd for, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I prefer queer or challengers. I suspect I'm going to like queer more than challengers. I thought challengers was okay, but God, that ending really pissed me off. And I think, I think I'm going to like queer.
I love challengers. I thought it was amazing.
Like, bullshit ending that was. Come on.
I disagree, but all right. Max Law says, thoughts on Elon Musk saying that woke lies kill great art in regards to Gladiator 2 and Stallone supporting Trump. Well, I don't know. What do you want me to say? I think Elon. Yeah, I don't want to get upset. So
what the fuck do woke lies have to do with Gladiator 2?
Yeah, he's a moron.
It's like these are false connections. Elon, Stallone supporting Trump. God bless. Do whatever you want, Tulsa King.
That was tough for me, man. I love Sylvester so much, and all I thought is Rocky has CTE for comparing him to George Washington. Get the fuck out of here.
Rich guys who just want the tax breaks. Come on.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. Exactly. And that's why, like, Arnold didn't support him, and I always felt Arnold was slightly smarter than Sylvester anyway. Max Law says, has Snyder seen Red Rooms? What's Red Rooms? What's Red Rooms?
I did see Red Rooms. It was the very first movie that I saw in 2024.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to see it so badly, Max Sloth, that I don't know that I torrented it, but I tracked it down on like some bootleg movie website.
How dare you? Wow.
I did not love it. I was disappointed. It had good vibe and atmosphere, but I just didn't really love like the story or where it went. So missed opportunity in my book. And I did read all the Red Rooms comic books, not related, but they were fucked up.
he also saw all the Red Shoe Diaries. Jeff did, so
I like
Karen,
it.
the great David Duchovny.
Well, how many questions are there?
Come on, oh, there's a lot, dude. Karen Deep Singh says,
I gotta take you got to take the show.
Go pee. All right, when he comes back, so I'll answer this for now, and then he'll read it when we come back. Karen Deep Singh says, could you? Oh, I'll mute him so we don't hear him. I'll mute him so we don't hear him peeing. Could you see Paul Mescal in any other roles besides from Beatles biopics, like any other rumors of him, Bond or another franchise, etc.? I don't know, but people aren't necessarily coming out of Gladiator 2 saying Paul Mescal for everything, like they did maybe for Glenn Powell and other actors. So, but I think people respect Paul Mescal. He's a damn good actor. James Bond be interesting because that's kind of continuing the Daniel Craig energy with what Paul Mescal showed in Gladiator 2. So that could be an interesting choice. Him versus Aaron Taylor Johnson for James Bond. That's an interesting choice for sure. I feel like Paul is the better actor overall than Aaron Taylor Johnson, but it all depends on what Barbara Broccoli and the producers want to do. But yeah, I could see it. I think Paul has now shown that he can lead these independent films and that he can lead these big franchise films. So, so I think it's very possible. Jeff, your thoughts on Paul Mescal? Oh yeah, let me unmute you. Paul Mescal.
Could I see him in as James Bond?
I kind of could as a Daniel Craig type of continuation, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Is it Aaron Taylor Johnson or Mescal? If you had to choose, would you go Aaron Taylor over Mescal?
That's tough.
Yeah.
I think I would.
Okay. All right. Uh-oh. I think you're frozen a little bit. There you go. You're back now. You're back.
Sorry about that. I think I would go with Aaron Taylor Johnson over Paul Mescal. Yes, but I'd like to see Craven before I lock in my answer on that one.
I gotta see Craven first. Ewok says Harris Dickinson is good casting. Still having trouble seeing the other three in those roles. I like the idea of having an unknown like Charlie Rowe as George, who was often overshadowed by the other three. Yeah, but you don't want to cast an actor that. The implication is they're overshadowed by the other three actors. That implies they're somehow less talented. I don't think that would be the right way to go in myself personally. But yeah, what do you think of this, Jeff? Any thoughts on this?
I think we kind of talked about it. I think it'd be tough to have Charlie Rowe open a movie.
Yeah,
you're going to see it because of George Harrison or whatever.
Right.
But I don't know. I think it might be tricky to have one guy who's not quite as famous as the other three, and then all the media questions are always going to the other three. I don't know.
Yeah, that would look bad. Jay Barrett Mash says, have you kept up with Shrinking this season? I think it's even better than the first, and that this show will age better than Ted Lasso. Great work, guys. Oh, Lasso is already past the first season. Lasso is the law of diminishing returns. I don't care what anybody says. It's not that the third season was not great. The second season only half great. The first season is the reason to watch that show. But I haven't seen Shrinking. Have you, Jeff? What are your thoughts on that?
I watched season 1. It was really good. I heard season 2 was not good, but you're actually the second person today, Jay Barrett Mash, who told me that I should check it out. So maybe I will do just that. I'm a big fan of my buddy Matt Knudson's on that show. He's one of the patients, so I will do my best.
Okay. Max Law says, did you hear about Jesse Eisenberg? Follow-up to A Real Pain is a musical with Julianne Moore and Paul Giamatti. Yes. Jeff, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's like about a shy woman who takes the lead in like a local community theater production that I think is being directed by Paul Giamatti, and he brings her out of her shell, and it's like the high stakes world of local theater.
I was watching recently, man. I watched Confidence for an hour the other day and forgot that Giamatti was even in that movie. Giamatti, man, I would love to sit down with him for just an hour, and not even on the mic. Just sit down and drink beers and get drunk with him and talk about shit. Because
he's a great hang. But why is everything a musical these days? We need Jesse Eisenberg's gonna be writing original songs for this musical.
Maybe
can we just do movies without needing a music thing? What's going on?
They can make money. Spreezy Sports, any updates on the live action Zelda movie? Has casting started yet? Thank you and love from Melbourne, Australia. Yeah, I haven't heard anything, Jeff. Have you heard anything about the Zelda movie?
No, I haven't. There was maybe a rumor with who's the guy from Apes? the guy from Bloodline, Owen Teague, right?
Oh, Owen Teague.
But I don't think that it's going to be him. Yeah, I mean, I guess Tom Holland's like the obvious choice, but again, I don't see that for him. I don't know. I don't know.
All right. Max also says, any update on Freaky Tales? I'm assuming it will release close to Fantastic Four as summer programming.
Pumped for Freaky Tales. Yeah, that thing's been sitting on a shelf for a while. I also think that you're right, Max. That feels like a summer indie movie, like a Kinds of Kindness almost, right? Like late June, maybe. Like, do you think it comes out before or after Fantastic Four? I think it probably comes out before, but if it has aspirations, they may hold it to the fall.
That's a good point. Yep. I think before. That's just Joe says, rumor going around, DC Authority is going to be an animated film now. Any other DC sauce, Jeff?
That's what I'm saying. Every 10 minutes in my life, there is a new DC rumor, or this is going to be that now, and that's going to be this. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, I have to agree. I don't know
The
either.
Authority is now an animated movie?
I have not heard that anywhere, so I don't know where that rumor is going around from.
Let me tell you something, guys. We don't need all these animated superhero movies.
Yeah, that's a bad.
I saw what animated DC looks like recently, and you can keep it.
Easy. I just don't understand how you introduce them live action in Superman and then swing them into an animated film. That to me doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense unless they're in an animated dimension. It just doesn't make sense. Buster Barnes says, it's hard to say whether Sgt. Rock is a good or bad idea, as we don't know much about it, and the DCU hasn't started yet. Maybe we get a JSA or Wonder Woman in this.
Wonder who? We're doing Sgt. Rock now. Who? Wonder Woman? Who's that?
I don't know if you want to introduce the JSA in a Sgt. Rock movie. That just, I'm with you at times. I feel like Charlie Day, and at times, like with the fucking board behind me sometimes when I hear all the stuff that James Gunn wants to do, like, let's just get Superman right. Let's just focus on that.
Let's just get Superman and Supergirl and fucking Batman Part 2 out. Like, what's going on with Batman Part 2? Because nobody seems to have any fucking idea.
That's true. April Knowles says, who are the movie stars of today? Who can attract viewers to the theater? I feel it may not exist anymore. Yeah, well, sure. Jeff Sneider.
There aren't any. No. I think us. I mean, I think Timmy and Austin Butler.
I don't know if I go Austin. I'll go with you on Timmy. I don't know if I can go with Austin.
I think he will. I think he will be.
Eventually,
he's a star in the making. Yeah.
I mean, nobody saw Bike Riders, and that had fucking Tom Hardy and Austin in that, and Jodie Comer, for God's sakes. So,
I mean, Zendaya, right? She's a movie.
Zendaya. I agree. I think Zendaya for sure. Yeah. But I think it's more of a director's medium now, isn't it, Jeff? The directors get you in the theater now. They're the stars.
And to some extent, do you think Jenna Ortega is a movie star?
No, not yet. I think she's a TV star, certainly with Wednesday and everything like that. But
I think Glenn Powell's a movie star.
Yes, Glenn Powell's a movie star. That's fair. Do you think Sydney is? I don't feel like Sydney is yet. I think she has to get that big breakout role.
Yeah.
Karen Vondermaiden. Sorry, Karen. I always have trouble saying the last name. Are you guys watching Get Millie Black on HBO? It's a pretty good show. That's the Io Edibiri show, right? I haven't seen that one yet. Jeff, are you watching it?
No. I've also heard good things. I have the screener for it, and I nearly watched it, but I haven't.
Okay.
There's a lot of TV in December, dude.
I mean, Dune Prophecy is out now. Landman, now it's Creature Commandos. What else you got?
Black Doves.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Dexter.
What was that?
Dexter original.
Right.
The Agency.
Yes.
I need to watch Day of the Jackal.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Squid Game Season 2.
Good trailer today, I thought, or yesterday.
There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah. We innovated. Elusive Rock saying Heretic, Strange Darling, Terrifier 3, Cuckoo, Substance, and Nosferatu still to come, right? 2024 has been a great year for horror. What was your favorite? And will any of them see major hardware in terms of awards? I would love to see Nosferatu nominated for Best Picture. What are your thoughts here, Jeff? On this?
Agreed. Yeah, I'd love to see. I mean, I haven't seen Nosferatu yet. Did you see it?
It's so good. It's so fucking good, man.
Yeah, I'm pumped for it. And remember, I was the only person, along with Jazz at Variety, the only person saying that movie would get a Best Picture nomination. I'm pumped for that one. As far as horror goes this year, I guess The Substance is probably the best one that I've seen. And yeah, Demi Moore could get a nomination for that. The screenplay could get nominated. My dad watched it with his girlfriend last night.
Oh,
they call me when it's done, and my dad goes, "Is that woman in a mental institution?" It's the person who made it, Coralie. She in a mental institution because she should be.
that's hilarious.
I warned him it wasn't going to be a Big Daddy movie.
Yeah. I mean, Terrifier 3 is not going to get any hardware, but it certainly, might spark stuff. Let's see. Kai says Recon Defying Gravity be performed at will Defying Gravity be performed at the Oscars? Yeah, if it gets nominated, I'm sure.
No, it can't be.
Oh, because it's not a best original song? Good point. Yeah.
And no, I don't think it should be performed at the Oscars. It should be fucking perform it at the Tonys. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, that's not what the Oscars are about to me.
There's no way they're not going to have them do it. There's no way. As an homage to introducing the film, there's no way they won't do it. It's too big to not. The film is too much of a juggernaut, dude.
You're going to hear that like Defying Gravity and clips from other songs and stuff when that movie, like if it wins anything.
No, right.
I don't think you're going to see a performance of those two. You think that they're going to do a special performance of Defying Gravity?
100%. What is the thing you talk about, right? The idea of ratings?
It's respectful, if anything. If the other 5 nominated songs are not performed at the expense of a song that is not nominated, that's not what the night's about.
Right. But look, where do you land all the time? You talk about ratings. You talk about how the Oscars can be snooty and they don't bring in the films that are big and mainstream. Well, I mean, look, this film is massive. It's going to get nominated for awards. So you bring them in to sing it. And I'm sorry, I don't hear some random song from some movie that like 10 people watched. It got nominated. No way is that going to matter more than appeasing the mainstream audience to have Cynthia and Ariana do a version of the song. I would absolutely okay that if I was an EP. And sorry, I don't get the 5th song from some film nobody went to go see. No way, man. You got to do it. You got to do it.
You want to make a modest bet?
Sure, $20.
$20.
$20.
You have defined. So this is performed live. You're saying
Defying Gravity or popular
used over like a montage.
How about any song from the movie performed? Does that count or no? Or is that too far?
Well, I don't think there is no original song, right?
No, but I'm saying popular could be done or Defying Gravity could be done.
It would be Defying. I mean,
right. I think
it would be Defying Gravity, but sure, we can include that in the bet. So any song from Wicked that is performed live.
Yeah, live. Yes.
So if they use Defying Gravity over like the big sweeping intro of the year's movies, that doesn't count.
That does not count. No.
$20. Deal.
Has to be live.
I don't think it will be.
Okay. Neeks 2890 says, "What's up, guys? Have you seen Queer yet? We talked about it. I went last night, but felt the story was weak and Sarky didn't do it for me. Craig was fantastic and definitely worth a watch. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone." Thank you, Neeks. Yeah, Jeff, anything to add?
I haven't seen Queer, but yeah, Drew. It's interesting that you said Drew Starkey didn't do it for you. Sorry, Neeks.
Yeah, I've got a whole lineup this weekend. I got to see like 10 movies this weekend off the app, and Queer is one of them for sure.
What's
now?
The app?
Huh?
Oh, your Critics' Choice.
Yeah.
Oh, pretty nice.
They just dropped Conclave and September 5th on the app, so I got to watch those. I want to watch Conclave again. Now and Again Production says, "Any surprises or snubs for each of you in the Astra nominations? Nice to see some noms that I don't think have Oscar hopes." Yeah, I mean, shout out to the Astra. I am a member of the HCA still, and the Astra nominations were put out. And I love that the Astra spread out some love in the nominations. But Jeff, your compatriot now, Scott Menzel, your thoughts on the Astra nominations?
I have no, dude. If you thought I clicked on that story about who's nominated for Astra Awards, you're out of your mind.
You're all in the crew in this crew now, so give some support.
The gate, listen.
You crashed them gates, you little rebels. You crashed them gates. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I have no comment on the Hollywood Creative Alliance Astra Award nominees.
Chips Bestwick says, "Rocha, been following you since Campy at Collider. Wow, how long before Disney decides to reboot Star Wars? It's past time to do it. Love the show, big dog. Love you, Chips. Thanks so much for being a fan. Yeah, I think you have to get Kathleen out before they reboot it. So until that happens, and if they're going to do this trilogy with Kinberg, no way they fucking reboot it until that trilogy is done. So I don't know that they're ever going to reboot it, but I think they will recast these characters again, the iconic ones, Luke, Leia, and Han. Jeff, what do you think? Do you think they'll recast them at some point down the road here real soon?
15 years.
15. Well, yeah. Well, there you go.
What do we got? 2037. Yeah, 13 years.
Yeah. I think it's after the Kinberg trilogy if that happens. After the whole Ray thing, if that happens, then they'll reboot.
Oh, I wasn't thinking. I was thinking in terms of the actors will be dead. Sorry. I think they'll wait until after Harrison and Mark have passed on.
Have passed on? Yeah, that makes sense. Sparkier, thank you, Sparkier. Says, sorry, it's just $1 my poor Argentinian ass can't afford my.
I was about ready to retire.
I know. Did Jeff watch When Evil Lurks from 2023? It's unsettling as fuck.
Yeah, I like that movie. It was a little overpraised by the horror community because the horror community overpraises everything.
Truth.
But I did like it.
Okay.
Well directed.
Kai says, get a letterbox, you guys. Log the films you watch. Us as fans would love to see what films you watch each week. Jeremy Strong needs to be nominated for The Apprentice. Yeah, Jeff. I'm finally getting a chance to watch that one. Your thoughts? Do you think he should be nominated? Do you think he will?
I think he's amazing in The Apprentice, which I saw for like a third time this week, watching it with my dad and his girlfriend. But guys, I don't do Letterboxd.
Yeah,
I have had the same blog spot for like 15 years. You can go to the insnider.blogspot.com. You don't need to subscribe. It's totally free. I update it in real time almost every day.
Nice.
And it is formatted the way I want it formatted. I do it for me, not for you, but you can still look at it. So if I were you, I'd bookmark it. I find it to be a very helpful, handy resource. And I'm not joining the crowd on Letterboxd because I already have my system.
This son of a bitch right here in the glasses, and I don't mean you, I mean the other guy on the screen right now, he tries to tell you that he's not a critic, yet he writes these reviews all the time on his blog spot. He reviews films all the time on his newsletter, but he's not a critic. Don't let him fool you. He is a critic, whether he likes it or not. I just want to make it clear to people here about Jeff Sneider. Ewok says, thoughts on this? To better judge a film's lasting quality, the Oscars should delay Best Picture voting by a decade. So the Best Picture of 2024 will be awarded in 2030. No, none of this. No, it would never happen. And it shouldn't happen that way, for God's sakes. One of the joys of Oscars, I think, is that you go back and try to redo it, you know?
Right. Yeah. It's all about in the moment. I mean, these movies are made and released in the moment. I mean, well, why don't we no.
I like the idea in terms of debating it 10 years later. That's always fun. But no, you can't wait 10 years to know. People go crazy because people use those Oscar films to like raise their quotes and get them more opportunities. And it just wouldn't work that way if you did it. DUI Champs is at the risk of
John. I think that there could be a separate show, right? Like you and I could start an award show that gives out awards to movies from 10 years ago. Like that would be kind of fun. I bet people would go for that.
I'd like that idea.
And the talent's available. Right? they haven't been on the campaign trail for 6 months. They did it 10 years ago.
That's true. DUI Champs is at the risk of sounding like I'm in the quote, everything is woke cult. I just looked at the Young Avengers. It's 4 women and 1 gay kid. Won't the optics cause a load of blowback from the bro community? Yeah, whatever. But look, you've got a Wicked film that's blowing up at the box office with a black woman playing a green-skinned person. You've got Moana, which is about to make $170 million. That's a woman of color leading it. It's all about quality. It's irrelevant of the wokeness of it all. It's all about quality. Quality always overrides people complaining about woke or anti-woke. Jeff, what do you think about this?
Exactly. You don't need the bro community. Right?
Yeah.
The women community is doing just fine without them.
Yeah, like be real. Like the bro community does not matter if the stuff is quality, and that's how you override all of that nonsense is to make better stuff. So yeah,
the bro community is also like the boys who cried wolf, right? If you're just gonna like make an uproar and a fuss about every little thing, then no one gives a shit. Like they just tune it out.
It becomes noise, right? And that's right. Exactly, that's what it is to me. Like so many people have been coming on my YouTube videos and going nuts because of Trump winning or whatever, because I went after one of the MAGA people an hour and a half into my stream, but I stayed on that thing for another hour and a half afterwards. But this video is like, oh, he stormed off. And it's like, no, I calmly walked away after 3 hours. So the bro community loves to create and fabricate nonsense, and that's what they do. So it's just noise now for me. Joe Tipton said, would love to hear Jeff's take on Cross, the series that's out now on Prime Video. Took me a bit to get used to the different take on the material, but I really enjoyed the second half of the season. Hodge gave good performance, but wasn't as accurate to the Alex Cross as Morgan Freeman was. What are your thoughts, Jeff?
Do you mean this Cross?
Hey, look at that.
Jimbo. Hey, thanks for the copy of the new book, Mr. Patterson. I liked it. I liked Cross. I think Aldous Hodge is good casting. I actually think Isaiah Mustafa was good casting as John Sampson. And I was skeptical at first. I didn't realize how big that dude is. He's fucking gigantic.
Yeah.
It's like he makes Aldous Hodge look small. I'm like, whoa. But the whole reason to watch this season is Ryan Eggold, who plays the villain. I don't think I want to give away what his game is, like what he's up to, but I found it to be very interesting as someone who considers themselves an aficionado of serial killers and true crime. I thought that this was a very interesting villain.
Okay.
And I like that, it was nice to actually spend some time with Alex's family, who always got the short shrift in the movies because it's a 2-hour movie and you just don't have enough time to set them up. Whereas they're half of these books. So I gotta say thumbs up on Cross, and I understand why they already renewed the show for season 2 before season 1 even premiered.
Is it 8 or 10 episodes? How many episodes is
I think it's 8.
Okay.
It's 8.
I'm trying to plan out because I want to watch that next week as well. Doug Developer says, hi, Jeff. What chances do you give Pam Anderson to be nominated for The Last Showgirl? Probably the least likely actor to be nominated since Mickey Rourke for The Wrestler. And what did you think of the film when you saw it at TIFF? Yeah, Jeff, a lot of people kind of quietly trying to push for Pam Anderson in this. What are your thoughts? And thanks, Doug, for your donation here.
Listen, hats off to Pamela Anderson. Yeah. Hats off, tops off. What shape is a nipple, John?
Is this from the movie? I don't know.
Most nipples are shaped circularly.
Sure.
That is also the shape roughly of a 0. And that is what she has. She has 0% chance getting a nomination. I'm sorry. This is like an insane, it's not insane, but it is an improbable quest that is not going to come to fruition this year. The movie is not very good.
Oh, really?
Okay. As good as she is in it, and it's obviously the best work of her career, what is that really saying? I mean, the role is beyond her grasp. It exposes her limitations as much as it shows how impressive she can be when given the right material. It also shows it's like, okay, you're not Meryl Streep here. So I think this is an Indie Spirit thing. She could get an Indie Spirit Award nomination, but no, the Oscars are completely out of the question for this movie.
Yeah, and look, Mickey had delivered wonderful performances in other films, so the wrestler thing was just a reminder that this guy used to be a damn good actor. Right, exactly, yeah. Mike Joyce says, go ahead,
it's no Darren Aronofsky.
Yeah, right. That's a good point. Mike Joyce says, I'm thankful for all the great shows you do together and also Jeff's newsletter. I really look forward to it now. Hopefully you two keep crushing it into 2025. Yeah, Jeff, I hope so too. Your thoughts? Yes.
I'll talk to you offline.
There you go.
Yeah. Thank you for following the newsletter. It means a lot to me that you look forward to it. And yeah, the response has been good. I just, it's a struggle with the schedule and figuring out, even the last couple of days worth it being slow. It's like, what's my headline going to be? Because if I don't have a good headline, why am I even sending this thing?
That's a good point. Could Lynn Ramsey's Die My Love be a part of the Sundance 2025 lineup, or is Cannes 2025 more likely? Does Jeff have any predictions for films going to Sundance 2025? And that's from Sloth.
Cannes seems like a much better bet for that movie to me than Sundance does. What do I want to see at Sundance? I mean, nothing's coming off the top of my head. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, he said, I hear that the Hand That Rocks the Cradle remake is filming in January. Is this true? Do you hear that, Jeff? That seems pretty soon.
I mean, it makes sense. Listen, there's going to be a zillion things heading into production at the top of the year. That's a function of Hollywood, going on a 6-week vacation, basically, at the end of the year, and no work gets done. But John, we were right. we were right that it wasn't going to be a white guy as that husband in the Hand That Rocks the Grave. I said, no way.
Yep.
It was Raul Castillo, and I still say you should have auditioned, buddy.
I like Raul. Slot said, I hear that. And, sorry. Parker says, how do you guys feel about physical media? Hopefully making a comeback. An official Alien Romulus VHS tape came out today. Thank you both so much for helping, and I'm sure plenty of others through some incredibly difficult times. Yeah, well, we're not done, buddy. We got 4 more years of that shit. Yeah, Jeff, do you think physical media is coming back? Do you like the idea of it coming back? I personally love physical media, and I don't ever want it to go away. Your thoughts on this?
I mean, I like it, but like I don't go out and actively buy DVDs and Blu-rays. Like I'm excited when people like will send them to me or give them to me as a gift or something like that. But yeah, I'm not like a buyer.
Okay.
It kind of just has to be something that's like I know is probably not available or may not be available for long on the streaming service. I definitely like keep that in mind. Like if it's Gladiator 2, like that's not going to disappear into the fucking ether, right? Like that's going to always have some sort of streaming home somewhere. But there are certainly movies where you're like, shit, if I don't like get a copy of this, who knows if this is going to be available on some streaming service 3 years from now?
Yeah, I lean more towards the Criterion stuff because those are, classic films or classic foreign films. And so I like to accrue those when they have the sales. But yeah, I don't catch myself buying the, Gladiator 2 or whatever's going to come out here. You're right. That's mainstream.
If there are any physical collectors watching them, I'm trying to get rid of like a dozen Blu-rays. So hit up my Facebook marketplace.
There you go. Booker T also said Dice is Sneider or Sneider is Dice in a movie. Either way, it's got to happen. There you go. Sloth said Sydney Sweeney has 4 projects coming. Euphoria season 3. Yeah, bullshit. The Housemaid, Coleman Domingo Scandalous, and Barbarella. And she just finished filming the fighting movie biopic. Any idea what order the projects will be made? Oof.
Well, I mean, that's what I was talking about when we were like, oh, Sydney a movie star. It's like, are people really going to turn up to this Christy Martin movie? I mean, I guess we'll see.
I don't think so.
Barbarella, I don't think is something that will be made, period. The Coleman Domingo movie, that's her with Sammy Davis, right? Her is Kim Novak.
Right. Yeah.
That could happen, especially if he gets a second nomination, like a back-to-back nomination for Sing Sing Coleman. I could see him having the clout to like push that through, although I don't know. I mean, maybe if he does it like in a month as soon as Euphoria wraps, right? So she like moves right into it as like a favor to him. But and what was the other one?
The Housemaid.
Housemaid's real. Housemaid is legit, and that movie is going to happen.
Okay. I love how you still think Euphoria season 3 is going to happen. I do not.
Euphoria, I mean, this is what they tell me.
Come on, you know what your gut tells you. JC says, rewatching Key and Peele. Oh, I love to rewatch Key and Peele. Would love to see Jordan in front of the camera again. And they would be great to make that scary movie, like you said, if it has to be done. Yeah. I don't think they're going to work together. I mean, Peele's made it pretty clear. Key has made it really clear that, him and Jordan don't even talk that much anymore. So I doubt they'd come together for a scary movie. Although it'd be fun, Jeff, wouldn't it? Those two guys seem like the perfect choice.
Yeah, no, is that like a thing that anybody's discussing? Key and Peele like starring in the scary movie?
We brought it up when we talked about the scary movie thing. We mentioned who else might tackle it. We mentioned Jordan Peele. So,
for tackling directing the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe be in it as well, possibly. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's going to be taking aim in some of Peele's own movies. So I don't know if.
That's a good point.
I don't know if he'd be down for that. Yeah.
Yeah, the Get Out version, the scary movie version of Get Out. Oh, please. Yeah, I got to see that. Anthony V, last super Streamlab here, and we'll move to 2 more super chats. Happy Thanksgiving. Do you think Dune 2, Wicked, and Gladiator 2 can all get nominated for Best Picture with these blockbusters? Conan as host and likely Shalamania and Denzel nominations. I can see the 2025 Oscars being the most popular Oscars in years. I think Dune 2 and Wicked, but I don't think Gladiator 2 gets Best Picture. What do you think?
I agree with you. I don't think Gladiator 2 is going to be nominated anymore.
Do you have a dark horse in the Best Picture category for a nomination? Is there a dark horse in your mind that could slide in there?
To me, Nosferatu is that dark horse.
Yeah. People haven't. It's So good. And Skarsgård is insane. You thought
I haven't seen it. Haven't seen like a complete unknown. Worse, don't have invitations to these movies. So like it's on the all media list. Like we'll invite this guy 2 days before the movie comes out.
Yeah, I saw it here in San Diego. It was nice to see it. Quadface says, "What up, Jeff and Outlaw? One of my top 10 movies is Mr. Brooks with Kevin Costner. I remember that one. Have you seen it? What do you think of a sequel?" Isn't that the one where he's a serial killer, right? So I don't know if they would do a sequel to that one.
Isn't William Hurt a big part of that? And he's dead.
Yeah, Demi was a part of it as well. Yeah,
Demi has actually got some juice. I didn't hate Mr. Brooks. Is Dane Cook in that?
Dane Cook is in that. So is Daniel Panabaker, Marge Helgenberger, and Lindsay Krause. So a nice little cast in that one.
Yeah, I think you move on.
Yeah, and that was right when Costner was doing all these kind of like, 3 days, these kind of films that were like around that time, little mini Liam Neeson projects. Kai says, Honora made me want to go to a strip club when I visit New York City. How much money should I bring and any recommendations? Ooh, I don't have any recommendations. I'm not a big fan of strip clubs. I don't like
me neither, Kai. I was gonna say bring enough to get you in the door, and then that's it. Don't spend any money at a strip club. What's the point of that?
Yeah, I don't like anything dancing around me that I can't have. So I've never understood the fascination with strip clubs.
One big tease. It's very frustrating. I mean, it's fun if you're like doing it as part of like a bachelor party thing, but once you're out of your 20s, strip clubs. You kind of just see the sadness of it all.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, no lie. Eric Kirby says, guys, speaking of physical media, I just bought Southern Comfort, the Walter Hill movie in DVD. Have you guys seen the movie? I have not seen Southern Comfort.
I just went on a Walter Hill kick. Is this the William Devane movie?
Ooh, maybe. I'll look it up real quick while you take a look. Why'd you go on this kick with Walter Hill?
I wanted to see some old stuff of his.
No, it's Keith Carradine, Powers Booth, and Fred Ward. So.
No, I did right, and that's and they're in like the woods, right? And like there's an attack.
Yeah, during a routine exercise, a team of National Guardsmen are threatened by angry and violent locals.
Yes, I just watched that.
Right, but you said someone was in the movies, not in the movie.
Yeah, I don't know, but I watched it like 2 months ago. It was it was okay. Yeah, it was well made.
Good actors in this: Peter Coyote, T.K. Carter, who I love, Lewis Smith, Fred Ward, Powers Booth. Nice.
I did that kick. Right. I watched Streets of Fire at the same time.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I did both. I did them both on the same day.
Nice, man. Yeah. Fucking Willem Dafoe. Dennis Hoffman says, can Jeff do every episode lying down asking for a friend? LOL.
Yes.
Are you fellas hearing anything on the Tom Holland, Austin Butler American Speed package? Any director circling this package? I have not heard.
I have not heard anything either. I mean, what do you want from me, Dennis? I break this package. Everyone doubts me. Everybody calls me a liar. You got to wait 2 months for confirmation. Now I got to have the director for you, too.
There you go, Dennis. Ewok says, any updates on the Stephen King movie, The Long Walk, with Cooper Hoffman and David Johnson, like a release date or test screening news? I didn't even know the film was done. Is it done?
Should be done by now. We're pretty close to wrapping production. If I'm Lionsgate, I mean, again, this is Lionsgate, so you're looking for like slots.
Yeah.
Right? Because all the other studios have shit that's like, I think, where did Lionsgate just release about 8 movies? And it didn't work for them, but I still see them doing it again.
Yeah.
August.
Yeah, August. Yikes.
To me, this feels like a end of summer, early fall movie. I'm going to say August, September next year.
Yeah. Dennis Hoffman, our last one, says, Jeff, any word on the Adil El-Arbi and Bilal Fallah next project? Bad Boys 4 overperformed. Weird that there's no follow-up.
No, I haven't really heard anything. Bad Boys 4 did overperform.
Yeah. Rightfully so. It's a good movie.
Hey, maybe Martin Lawrence will give him a call on Wild Hogs 2. That's why Wild Hogs 2 is happening, because Martin Lawrence is the fucking man in Bad Boys and carried that movie. Him and Reggie. I forgot about Reggie. Reggie's the man. But Will Smith was just sleptwalked through that whole movie.
Through Bad Boys 4? Really?
Yeah. Yes. 100%. Will Smith, dude. Martin Lawrence is doing the heavy lifting in that movie.
How dare you? So William H. Macy, Travolta, Tim Allen, and Martin Lawrence. That's your wild hogs. I mean, Ray Liotta's passed on. Marissa's still around.
There's a fourth.
Isn't that the fourth? Travolta, Macy, Martin Lawrence, and Tim Allen. Isn't that the fourth? Yeah.
Ray Liotta, maybe he'll be replaced by Dennis Quaid again.
Maybe. Dennis says just one more because I appreciate you guys. Yeah, but Dennis, you ask all the questions of Jeff. What about me? What am I, fucking meatloaf over here? For God's sakes.
Wait, Dennis, what about a deal in Bilal for that Tom Holland Austin Butler movie?
Oh, that could be good. I tell you right now, if I'm Kevin Feige, I'm on the phone with those guys to do the series for Young Avengers, the Champion series. But those guys, I think, would be great to do that, for God's sake. So I'd be all about getting them on. All right, I think that's all the Streamlabs Superchats, Jeff. Let's wrap it up here as we're close to 2 hours. We got to get on with our thing.
What are you grateful for this year, Johnny? It's Thanksgiving. Give me one thing you're grateful for.
One thing, I'm grateful for the fact that I have so many amazing people who I do shows with and are fans. And no matter how tough it gets, there are enough people who come on and love the work we do and love the work I do on the channel. So I'm grateful that people even care what the fuck I have to say about anything and that I can make a life out of it, because a lot of people are doing jobs they don't want to do in their lives. So I'm very grateful and blessed and fortunate. And that's usually what I'm grateful for every year for the last 4 years doing this channel that I've done. What about you, Jeff? What are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for all my Sneider subscribers and Hot Mic viewers.
Yes.
So if you subscribe to the newsletter, I'll be that much more grateful for you. And grateful for banner number 18, right?
Oh, the Celtics.
Banner number 18. I got to pay my brother off the final installment of that finals ticket last night.
Nice.
Because Johnny Rocha hooked it up with a big fat Hot Mic payment. So thank you to John Rocha for helping me pay off that Celtics ticket, because it wasn't.
I'm sure it wasn't, but thanks to everybody who sends in Streamlabs and Super Chats who helps us do that for sure. And shout out to, and I'm grateful for Liverpool beating Real Madrid. We have never looked better. And I'm just enjoying the season. I don't know where it's going to lead, but I'm having fun. And that's nice to see for sure. And of course, my lady Outlaw, very grateful for her. All right. Well, there you go. That's our Hot Mic show. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We really appreciate it madly. We hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Try not to fight with anybody. Try to be patient. Try to just navigate as best you can. And for those who are not going to have any of those issues, we hope you enjoy it even more and have a wonderful Thanksgiving tomorrow. Jeff, any final words to these people, and tell people where they can subscribe to your newsletter?
TheInsnider.com. I appreciate it, guys. Just get me through the end of the year. Just get me to January. Thank you.
There you go. As for me, follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Please remember to subscribe to the channel. You want to give me a Thanksgiving gift, give us a Thanksgiving gift. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell button. Leave your comments on everything we talked about here. And if you want to send some more support, there is that thanks button down there. If you're watching later, not watching live, you can send in love to the channel that way and to the show that way as well. Thank you all so much. Take care of yourselves, and we'll talk to you next week with another brand new episode of the Hot Mic. Peace. Until then.